The Cleveland Cavaliers are more than halfway through the 2023-24 NBA season, but let's use the All-Star break as an opportunity to reflect on what we've seen so far, and hand out midterm report cards to each member of the Cavaliers. We'll start with the players who have shown their potential this year, but still have some work to do before earning a passing grade. Darius, Garland, and Max Strus are no doubt two of the most important players on the roster, but I need to see a little more from both of them in the back half of the season. Garland is the star pupil who hasn't been turning in his homework, struggling to excel in the same ways we've seen before. DG's stats are down across the board, shooting a career-low 33% from deep, with an assist-to-turnover ratio nearly matching his abysmal rookie season. Garland hasn't been the efficient floor general we have come to know and love, taking poor care of the ball and lacking his usual juice from behind the arc. It has been an injury-riddled season for DG that's made it hard to establish a rhythm, but thankfully, Garland's had one of the best assist-to-turnover ratios in the NBA since returning from his fractured jaw. The three-point accuracy hasn't returned to form just yet, but Darius is connecting on a career-high 54% on his attempts from two-point range and has jumped to a 68% finisher in the paint. This is nearly 10% better than his previous career high. So while the season has been a rough one for DG, there's still a chance he can make it all up in the final semester. The same can be said for Max Strus, who is also shooting a career-low 33% from downtown. He has been the definition of a streaky shooter, with 8 games of 5+ three-pointers and another 8 games of 0 three-pointers all in the same season. Strus is still thriving as a glue guy in Cleveland's starting lineup, bridging the gap offensively between the front and back court with the 17th highest plus-minus in the entire NBA. His value as a floor spacer was exactly what the Cavs needed, even if shots aren't falling right now. A hot streak from Strus or Garland at the right time could lift the Cavaliers through an entire round of the playoffs. They have each had their moments of greatness throughout the year, but to pass the class, they're going to have to put in some extra credit down the stretch. So who has already earned a gold star for the Cavaliers? I think Donovan Mitchell, Jarrett Allen, and head coach JB Bickerstaff deserve the highest score so far. And again, keep in mind I'm only grading them for the first half of the season. This could all change depending on the playoffs. Another first round elimination would not bode well for anybody. But since facing the edge of a cliff back in December, JB Bickerstaff has done a fine job winning back some goodwill with the fan base. His most effective skill as a coach is getting his players to buy into his system. And with injuries sending the Cavs rotation into a spiral, it was JB's culture and the power of friendship that helped turn this season around. The Cavs are playing radically different basketball from a year ago, attempting more three-pointers and modernizing their offense. JB deserves a ton of credit for bringing this vision to life as he preached this exact playstyle all summer long. Then there's Donovan Mitchell, who deserves the gold star more than anyone else in Cleveland. He's a legit MVP candidate, having possibly the best season of his career.
He made his life miserable as Mitchell displays some range. He now is 3 for 3 from deep.
While Mitchell shot the ball better last year, he is playing a better all-around game than we've ever seen from him, reaching new heights as a playmaker and exerting himself defensively to be a positive impact on that end of the floor. Let's face it, without Donovan Mitchell, the Cavs would probably be competing for a play-in spot rather than securing the second best record in the conference.
Mitchell puts it on the floor, and how about that? Spectacular.
The last gold star goes to Jarrett Allen, who had his reputation dragged through the mud more than anyone else after last year's collapse in the playoffs. Allen has done everything in his power to remind everyone how dominant he can be as a defensive anchor. Allen has led the charge as Cleveland works to reclaim the best defensive rating in the NBA, and his growth on offense should not go overlooked. He's playing above the break, operating dribble handoffs, and knocking down mid-range jumpers. Allen is turning into everything the Cavs need from the center position, and he's about 4 or 5 feet away from being a legit floor spacer, which is something I would have never predicted, but at just 25 years old, it could very well be in the cards for Jarrett Allen.
Passes and not missing a free.
Jarrett Allen, come on, UB. He said, why not? Why not
Let's shift gears now and talk about the other side of the grading scale. Georges Niang and Damian Jones are on the fast track to summer school if things don't turn their way. While Niang has had some big moments for the Cavs and undoubtedly brought the grit and toughness the locker room was missing, his actual contributions on the court have been hit or miss, and I mean that literally. Niang is a welcomed addition when his shots are falling, but his minutes get really ugly really quickly when his three-point shot is off. He's as vulnerable as anyone in the NBA defensively, and Niang's gunner archetype leads to some shot attempts that only look good when they go in.
Niang misses badly. Suns with the rebound.
Now, I'm a fan of the process over the results, so Niang's willingness to shoot is actually a good thing in my book, and despite some truly awful shooting stretches, Niang is at a 35% clip from downtown, which places him roughly league average, even if it's below his usual 40% mark. I think playing Niang in the postseason is going to be difficult because he is a weak point defensively and hasn't had enough consistency on offense to be trusted. Ultimately, the Cavs should be able to afford giving Niang a few opportunities just because of the way Dean Wade has been playing. If there's anything Wade and the bench squad needs to do, it's exactly what they've been doing. Wade has emerged as one of the most reliable two-way wings a second unit can ask for, offering the Cavs some switchability defensively due to his 6'9" frame and athleticism. Wade has always been a sturdy defender, but he's on another level this season, and he's shooting a career high at roughly 40% from deep on 4 attempts per game. Wade's uptick in confidence has made him a legit catch-and-shoot weapon for the Cavaliers, and his ability to defend multiple positions as well as chip in on the glass makes Wade one of the most valuable members of this team. Other players in the second unit, from sixth-man Caris LeVert to the undrafted Craig Porter Jr., have been getting the job done too. LeVert remains a streaky scorer, but has relentlessly worked on his game to fit what the Cavaliers need from him. He's given the Cavs another sound, switchable defender, and LeVert does a fantastic job accepting secondary ball handling responsibilities. The more guys you have that can pass, shoot, and dribble, the better your team is, and LeVert checks all of those boxes while being a quality defender. Someone like Sam Merrill might only check one of those boxes, but he does so with authority. Merrill is honestly one of the best shooters on the planet, and his presence makes the entire offense open up. Merrill is a lights-out motion shooter, and watching him play off of Cleveland Stars has been an absolute treat. I don't know how many minutes Merrill can steal from the backcourt rotation once the playoffs begin, but I do know that a limited leash won't change his approach. If Merrill is on the floor, he's shooting the ball. He's currently attempting the most three-pointers per 100 possessions in NBA history. So Sam Merrill, keep doing what you're doing. We have 2 categories remaining, so let's get this one out of the way. Tristan Thompson is unfortunately the student who cheated on the final exam, and since he has already been caught cheating multiple times before, we should have known it was too good to be true when he handed in such a fantastic first half of the season. Tristan was suspended 25 games after failing a test for performance-enhancing drugs. And jokes aside, I hope TT is able to return and match even a fraction of what he was giving Cleveland before, because his hustle and commitment to grabbing every missed field goal is a joy to watch. And now let's break down our final category, the players who are trending upward. Evan Mobley and Isaac Okoro didn't have the start of the semester they hoped for, but they put in the work on the study guides and have turned it all around in a hurry. Okoro is a player I have irrationally defended for years, and now I'm not feeling so irrational.
Okoro leaks out and throws it down and draws the foul.
Okoro is shooting 40% from the three-point line and is attempting them from all around the arc. He's handling the ball with confidence, taking defenders off the dribble, and either finishing at the rim or dishing to his teammates. Okoro is finishing 61% of his attempts in the paint and is near the top of the league in points per possessions when attacking in transition. All the while, he has grown as a defender, going from an elite point of attack presence to a legit all-defense caliber player. Okoro accepts the toughest individual matchups in the entire NBA, and he's passing each test with flying colors. At this rate, Okoro is as important as any other role player in Cleveland, and he just turned 23 in January. Then there's Mobley, who won't be 23 until later this summer. And while his stats don't suggest a leap has taken place, anyone watching this young man can see the improvement that has taken shape from year to year. Mobley's added weight over the offseason has made him more difficult to keep away from the rim, and he's converting a career high on his attempts from 2-point range. Mobley is still a freak athlete with the agility to do stuff like this.
Jump out of the gym. We saw him last year in the playoffs.
Twisting move to the paint.
But he's now added the strength needed to fight contact like this.
And also tied to Mobley gets to the basket, he does.
And he's one of the most insane defenders I have ever seen, treating grown men like toddlers.
Here's Amaru as that ball was just taken away.
Mobley missed a month with a knee injury and spent that time refining his jump shot. He's now shooting 41% from deep this year and made more threes in February than the previous months of the season combined. Mobley isn't a sharpshooter just yet, but the hitch in his jump shot has disappeared, and he's making defenders respect him one way or another.
Down 15, the three.
He's gone from a 67% free throw shooter to a 75% clip this season, suggesting that where there is smoke, there is fire. Mobley's offensive leap is going to look different from what we usually see from young stars, since he is sharing the court with so many other ball-dominant players rather than the lone force on a lottery team. But make no mistake, Mobley is slowly gathering all of the Infinity Stones, and if his development stays on this trajectory, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with over the next few years. In summary, the first half of the season has been an A+ for the Cavaliers, even if they started much slower than they had hoped. A little bit of adversity was the best thing that could have happened for this team. They've only grown closer over the last few months. While the playoffs will be their true test, they've put in the necessary work to feel good about their chances this time around.